Hello all. In this current market, it actually takes some time to discover undervalued companies and undervalued stocks. And it does take a little bit of analysis and this kind of tool that we are actually creating here, and eventually it's going to be accessible by all of you, is a very, very quick way to analyze stocks. And I have done a little bit of work, and I wanted to compile this video to let you know about five different companies that I think are right now great potential acquires for your portfolios. Of course, it's your own decision whether you want to add them or not, but I'm going to explain why I think they are undervalued and why I would definitely consider adding them to my portfolio. And I already have some. But we're gonna start with a very, very well-known one, which I've talked about quite sometimes in this channel, and that is Meta Platforms or Facebook. It is currently at 222 almost dollars here. And you can see all the information here about the company. Now, this is not going to be a deep dive into the company's financials. It's just going to be pretty much a discounted cash flow model in which we're going to try and see whether the company is a potential interesting purchase based on the stock price. Now, of course, ideally you want to be taking a look at the actual fundamentals of the company and what they are doing in terms of their financials. But I have actually done this kind of work, and in this video I wanted to talk to you about what the stocks and what the companies are worth just by taking a look at their discounted cash flow models here. And you will see for Meta here, and I have already pre-calculated these values. You can see the revenue growth is at about 33, 28, 37. It's very similar here. So I used the more conservative values, 18, 20, and 22. 22 being my highest one here. And the net income margins, they are about 30 to 34, but I used 24, 26, and 28 here. And again, the free cash flow margins, similarly, 85, 90, and 95, and I always use 13% for my annual return. This is what I'm always going to be using for all the five stocks that I'm going to be recommending in this video, just to have an exact same way, an exact same objective, really, 13% of gain annually, that is. And so if you hit calculate, and I have already done that, you will see that the current stock price is at $222 almost, yet the low estimate is almost 300 based on these projections, and the high one 444. So Facebook right now is one of my top purchases. I think it's a very, very undervalued company, and this is why I hold a lot of it in my portfolio. So yeah, that's gonna be my first one. The next one is going to be Alibaba here. And for Alibaba, again, we're taking a look at this table here, and we're using these projections 18, 20, and 22, which can be fairly conservative. And again, 18, 20, and 22 for the net income margin, again, relatively conservative, and 90, 100, and 110 for the free cash flow margin, which is also pretty conservative. And a 13% is my typical. And again, you see here that with a current price of $113, the lowest estimate that we get from these projections is 185, while the highest one is 321. And frankly, I think this is closer to the truth, to tell you the truth. So yeah, Alibaba is definitely my second suggestion here. For the third one, we're going to go Smith & Wesson brands. This is a company that's selling guns, so I'm not sure if if many of you don't like this kind of company, but in terms of the financials, it's doing very well. And apart from this year where the revenue and net income and free cash flow were not really great, and there have been a little bit of ups and downs, but if you take a look at the averages here, the 5-year average revenue growth has been 12%, and the 3-year average is better, and the last year is even better. And so now I'm using very, very low estimates here, 13, 15, and 17. 13 is actually lower than the 5-year average. It's actually not lower, it's marginally higher, but it's very close to that. So We could even use 11 and we can actually try that, but I'm gonna go with a little bit better just because the 3-year average and the last year have been marginally better. So I don't think that the company will keep on doing this kind of average here. But 13, 15 and 17 I think makes sense. And the net income margin from 5 to 23 a little bit all over the place. So I went 5, 7 and 9 here. And the free cash flow margin had a few years that were a little bit weird here. As you can see, the free cash flow and the free cash flow margins, there was a negative year that kind of skews the results, and a 70% here. So I did go 60, 70 and 80 here. But the thing is, and this is what makes it a very interesting purchase here, that the low estimates of Smith & Wesson are 16 and the current price is less than that, and so the medium is almost 30 and the high 45. So with relatively conservative estimates here, we are still sitting at a company that has low, medium and high estimates that are lower than the current price, and I like to see that. So this is why this company is one of the companies that I like, and I am definitely suggesting for my portfolio. So the next one, Walgreens. So Walgreens here, again, you will see that we're using 2, 3 and 5. The company did have some negative years, like 2021 was negative in terms of revenue, and the company does make a lot of revenue, so you can never really expect these kinds of huge companies to keep on growing their revenues. There will be some years that they will be negative, but generally speaking, I think 2, 3 and 5% are achievable. Probably I would go with 3, like being around the medium one. But the net income margin, again, is about 2, 3 and 4, what I have added here. And you will see that the company has done quite a few years with 3, yet 2020 kind of skewed the results. So I think 2, 3 and 4 makes sense. Free cash flow margin, 95, 100 and 105 is very conservative here. Just because, the company has had a little bit of all over the place estimates. I went very conservative here because 97 has been their lowest, and I'm using 95 here. And you will see that even with these relatively conservative estimates here, the company is pretty undervalued, being at $47, yet their low, it's only marginally more than the lower estimate, being 47 instead of 42, but medium and high estimates are way higher than our current price, so that's good to see. And the next one is going to be Intel, one of the companies that I really like. And you will see here again that the company has been increasing revenues pretty much year over year, yet some years have been almost flat. So I'm going to 4 and 6 here, and the net income margins are about the same for most years, sitting at about 30%. So I went 20, 22 and 24. Free cash flow margin, again, it's for the most part close to 100 to 80 to 100, I guess. But I went 70, 80 and 90 for the averages, and the annual return of 13%, and I'm getting a low estimate of $13, which with the current price of 51 is a little bit far, but the medium estimates are fine. We are actually below this current price, and the high estimates are pretty higher than the current price as well. So these are 5 stocks that I think are potentially interesting additions to a portfolio. Again, it's not very easy to discover companies that are undervalued these days. The vast majority of stocks in the market are overpriced, and so it's our duty, it's what we do here, to actually try and analyze the companies and discover the ones that are currently undervalued so that we can make money from them in the long run. And I think these 5 are potentially interesting to maybe purchase and wait on them for a few years. And I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you liked it. Please leave a like if you did and subscribe, I'd love to see you around. And if you did like this video, let me know, leave a comment below, and I can potentially add another one, make another video in which I'm gonna, create a second part and talk about 5 more companies, 5 more stocks that can be potentially nice purchases and are currently potentially undervalued as well. So let me know with a comment below, and I'd love to see you around. In the meantime, take a look at this video that I made earlier, and it discusses Alibaba and what they are doing with their kinda buying back shares. They have announced extra buybacks for their stock. So that's interesting to know. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.